Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving. A country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, there will be no message from the President and formal communication by the Speaker. Can we proceed to take item numbered 5, correction of votes and proceedings and official reports? Honourable members, vote and proceedings of Tuesday, 18th February 2025 for correction. Honourable members, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. 7. 8. Yes, Honorable Frank Afriye.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, if it pleases you, permit me to seek your guidance at this, page 8, item 8, understatement. Speaker, if I recall properly, the Minister for Health was in this August House yesterday, essentially to give update per your invitation on the outbreak of 3 major diseases: cholera, meningitis, and HMPV. But over here, per the records, human metapneumovirus is completely missing. Speaker, I seek your guidance. Thank you.
Table office, take note. I think it's an omission. Let it be corrected. Yes, Professor.
Speaker.
Honorable Professor Kinsley Nyako.
Honorable Speaker, still on page 8, item 7, and the official report. Yesterday, I saw on the screen 2 official reports, 11th and 12th. But I do remember clearly that the one we did correct was dated 11 February 2025. But what is captured here is Wednesday, 5 February 2025. I will plead that the table office looks at it and reconcile, because I have it on my phone, and it was 11 February 2025. So they have to check and
I think what was taken was 5th February, and today we are going to take 6th February.
What was taken
we
yesterday
took 1.
Was 11 February. I have it here.
Very well, we can reconcile.
Yesterday, I remember I did correct.
We can reconcile the record.
It was 11. Sorry? We took only 1. There were 2, but we took only the 11th. The 12th was not done. Thank you, Mr.
We can reconcile. Yes, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, may I refer you to page 7?
Taking me back to page 7?
Yeah, Honorable Bright Asamoah Brefo, Member of Parliament for Babiani and Yasobekwai. I was in the chamber yesterday, but for mysterious reason, I find my name on the list of members who were absent yesterday.
Table office, please take note. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, humbly permit me to take you to page 8, statements. I am seeking your guidance on verification. Honorable Minister responsible for health, Mr. Kwabena Minta Akando. Mr. Speaker, I think he's a member of Parliament, and the designation and the constituency should also be captured. I don't know if it's right to, because when you look at other members of Parliament who made statements, their constituencies have been captured. But that of Honorable Kwabena Minta Akando, his constituency was not captured.
But he was here in a designated capacity. Not as a member of Parliament, but as a minister responsible for health.
I agree, Mr. Speaker.
That is the capacity in which he briefed the House.
I agree, but
so virtually there is nothing.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, by your kind guidance.
Very well, very well, very well. Any further correction? Page 9. Page 10. Honourable members, any correction? Yes, Honourable Asamoah.
Honourable Speaker, thank you. I would like to seek your guidance, page 10, item number 10. The House approved the following as members of the committee. Honourable Speaker, Mr. Mahama Ayariga is the majority leader. Osahin is also minority leader. And it goes on. Will it be right? I'm just seeking your guidance to add, in addition to these names, their designation as the majority leader or the minority leader, since they are a member of a committee that has been set up.
Then, by your suggestion, Mr. George Kweku Ricket Hagan is a deputy majority leader.
Yeah, so, Mr. Speaker,
Well,
for all
once
of
the
them,
names are captured here, I think it sufficed. It is neater this way. We all know who is a majority leader. We all know who is a minority leader. So for the purposes of the record, their names sufficed. If you look at the attendance, their constituencies, has already been added. So over here, if it is not added, it's not too much of a problem. Any further correction? Honourable members, the vote and proceedings of the 19th sitting dated Tuesday, 18th February 2025, as corrected, is adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, the official report of Thursday, 6 February 2025. Any corrections? Yes?
Honorable Speaker,
Professor Kingsley Nyako, yes.
a minor observation on column 15, the second paragraph. Mr. Speaker, examples of contributions of member countries include Spain and the Spanish National Organization of the Blind. I mean, when you are getting old, you lose some of these things. Spanish, I don't remember if there should be I before the N. I'm not quite sure about that, so if they could check whether it is Spanish or Spanish. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Table office, take note and check. Yes, honourable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I seem not to have either in hard copy or soft copy of the report we are deliberating now or we are considering now. I'm just wondering whether it was an oversight to be uploaded into the system or hard copies were provided to members, which I did not get a copy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please recheck. I am reliably informed it's on the console.
Mr. Speaker, it's not there. I am certain that it's not there.
Is it the case that all of you are not having the official report? Honourable members, if you are not having the official report, then it will accord with common sense and reason that we defer the correction to tomorrow. But if you have, then we can go ahead and the correction. And honourable members, the correction of the official report of Thursday, 6 February 2025 is accordingly deferred to tomorrow. Yeah, those who are having it tomorrow, please bring it so that they can make hard copies for those who are not having it. Thank you very much. Yes, Honourable Nyindam.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Speaker, I want some kind of clarification and guidance on this official reports. Yesterday, we had the 11th and then the 12th. Then today, we are back to SIF. I don't know why we cannot get them according to the days. Because you have yesterday 12th, you have 11th, and all of a sudden we are back to SIF. That kind of up and down, I don't know, Mr. Speaker, if the Hansa department can do something or the table office can do something about it. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Indam. Observation well noted. But if you look at the vote and proceedings, it is about the 5th. And today is about the 6th. And the argument was whether it was the 5th or the 11th. And I asked that they should check. Sometimes it's the volume, but they are working on it. Thank you. Honorable members, let me use the opportunity to acknowledge pupils from Azuris International School, led by Emmanuel Adolf Loga, a teacher, and they are from Tema West constituency. They are 52 in number. My dear pupils, you are welcome. Have a fruitful visit to Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Honourable members, item numbered 6. Statements. Honourable members, we have received statement from the Member of Parliament from Afajato South, Honourable Frank Afriye, on the urgent attention required to address water supply challenges across Ghana. Honourable member, you have the floor.
Right Honourable Speaker, let me celebrate your magnanimity even as I prepare to deliver this statement, which is largely on the supply of clean water, its relevance, and supply challenges. Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for this highly prized space to stand before this esteemed House to address a critical and urgent issue that transcends the Afajato South constituency where I represent, resonating deeply across the entire nation. Our beloved Ghana is on the precipice of a water crisis that, according to research from the Water Resources Commission, is anticipated to culminate in severe water stress by 2025 if urgent and decisive actions are not taken. This was reported in the May 4, 2022 edition of the Daily Graphic and other media outlets. This prediction is particularly alarming in light of the current cholera outbreak that has gripped our nation, reminding us starkly of the dire consequences that arise from inadequate access to clean water. Until last weekend, residents from Kweve, Goviope, Woje, Agate, Have, Peki, Bame, Akrofu, and neighboring communities face continual challenges in accessing clean water due to the malfunctioning Kweve water treatment plant since mid-December last year. However, this is merely a microcosm of a much larger national issue that threatens the health, safety, and livelihood of countless Ghanaians. The statistics reveal an unsettling reality. 1 in 5 persons in our nation lacks adequate drinking water. In the northern region alone, this figure escalates to 1 in 3, highlighting the glaring disparities in access to one of life's most essential resources. Mr. Speaker, we cannot overstate the importance of clean water, which is fundamentally linked to public health, Studies show that 80% of diseases in Ghana stem from unsafe water and poor sanitation, fueling the alarming rise in water-related illnesses such as cholera, typhoid, and other diseases that disproportionately impact our vulnerable population. Each attempt by families to secure fresh water, often leading them to abandon boreholes or unhealthy surface water sources, emphasizing the urgent need for a comprehensive national strategy to confront this crisis. In view of this, permit me to take this opportunity to commend the Volta Regional Minister for his commitment to addressing the urgent needs arising from the Kweve facility's failure, as well as the efforts of my colleague from Southdown, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dapiamepo, who shares a passion for restoring the Kweve treatment plant following its dysfunction. Nevertheless, it is not forgotten the struggles faced by our constituents in accessing clean water are mirrored nationwide. As such, it is imperative that we amplify our response and ensure a cohesive approach to restoring and improving our water treatment infrastructure. Additionally, the looming threat of illegal mining activities pose a grave risk to our water resources and the integrity of our water supply systems, leading to the shutting down of several treatment plants across affected areas. These illicit practices not only pollute our water bodies, but also threaten the health and safety of communities that depend on these vital resources. The extensive damage inflicted by such activities let us prioritize urgent repairs and upgrade of existing water treatment plants across the nation, ensuring that they can meet the demands of a growing population. Additionally, we should expand our distribution networks to guarantee the communities to have access to clean and safe drinking water. 2, development of a sustainable water management strategy. We must collaborate with the Ghana Water Company Limited and relevant stakeholders to create a comprehensive water resource management plan that prioritizes conservation, efficient use of resources, and the implementation of best practices for water extraction and treatment. 3, strengthening regulatory framework against illegal mining. We need to take immediate action to combat illegal mining activities that threaten our water resources. This includes strengthening enforcement mechanisms, collaborating with relevant agencies, and raising public awareness about the importance of protecting our water bodies. Mr. Speaker, as we engage with these critical issues, we must not forget the lessons of our current cholera outbreak. And from our experience with dried water hydrants, which have shown us how inefficient and inadequate access to water directly inhibit firefighting efforts and endangers public safety. We must promote safe water, good sanitation, and hygiene as fundamental rights for all Ghanaians. Time is of the essence, and we have a collaborative responsibility to put forth solutions that ensure reliable access to clean water for every citizen. Let us unify our efforts to secure a better future for Ghana, a future where every individual can access safe water, a cornerstone for health, dignity, and national development. Together, let us courageously navigate this path to restoration, resilience, and sustainability for the health of all Ghanaians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to address such a pressing issue. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honourable members, the statement has been read. I will now take comment. Yes, Honourable Member for Hohwe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first commend my neighbor and brother, MP for Afajato, for this very important statement. Water challenge, water not flowing through our taps is a problem that every constituency, that confronts every constituency. And then he being my neighbor, I would say the problem he faced in his constituency, my own is more than his. Hohwe constituency and the entire water region have been faced with water shortage because no audit so far from my checks has been done on all our treatment plants. You come to Hohwe, our treatment plant was built over 20 years ago, and no replacement has been done to the machines. The old machines are still being used, and the number of people that were there before the treatment plant was built, the number has increased, and it's the same treatment plant that is being used to supply water to the people in that very constituency, my constituency, Hohwe. Mr. Speaker, today you come to Hohwe constituency, water flows through our taps once a week. That's when we are lucky. The hospital, Hohwe Regional Hospital, in fact, Volta Regional Hospital is located in Hohwe. Water flows through their taps once a week. I was at the hospital 2 weeks ago and visited the morgue. The mortuary attendants have to use the Kufuor gallon, walk miles to fetch water before they use it for their daily duties. Now the wind of cholera is blowing all over. And if you don't have water in our hospitals, in our morgues, I know the problem will be very devastating in the coming days. So we'll plead with the Minister for Works and Housing that the treatment plants all over the country, let me speak for my people, in Volta region, in Hohwe, they should look at it, and those that need to be replaced, they should be replaced. Those that need to be worked on, they should be worked on, so that we'll have a free flow of water in our taps. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to our member for Afajato for raising this very important challenge facing not only his constituency, Volta region, and the entire nation as a whole. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think water is very, very important in our life. Without water, we can't live. And mostly, it's very challenging in Ghana to have water. Mr. Speaker, you go to some areas, 24 hours, water flowing. But mostly Ghana, during especially dry season, there's a challenge. And if you don't drink proper water, you know what's going to happen. It's health-related. Sanitation issue, you get a lot of diseases and sickness, all due to improper or lack of quality water that we get to drink. Mr. Speaker, I think it's about time for us to resource or empower community water. Community water serves a lot of rural areas. But unfortunately, community water cannot get loans, facility to serve these people. Only Ghana Water can access loan. Community water basically rely on NGOs and then some funds. And there are 7 masses of the rural areas. Mr. Speaker, you go to some areas, some of my community, during dry season, they struggle water with animals, which is serious. Because if there's no water, definitely they will go struggle with them. Therefore, it's important for us to pay attention to community water. Let's give them power to also access loan so that they can serve most of our communities in the rural areas. Mr. Speaker, I think if you go to Sene West, there are so many rivers around, but we have challenge to get proper and quality water to drink. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I think it's about time for us to improve. Mr. Speaker, if you check, Mr. Speaker, if you check, Ghana Water always have power to go for loans. And even Ghana Water, the urban areas and the cities, also there are challenges. And also the galamsey, that is also causing our water bodies. It's affecting us for the community water and the Ghana Water to treat the plants for us to get quality water to drink. Mr. Speaker, with this, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chumesi Yampofo. Yes, Honorable Member for Safton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by my respected colleague, Frank Efriye. I must say that almost all of us in this House would in one way or the other associate with this statement, because almost all of us have challenges with getting potable water running through our taps. The irony is that, particularly for those of us from constituencies that lie along the Volta River, from which treatment plants are built to treat water for our use. Unfortunately, for instance, Sogakope, the treatment plant is at Agodume. The phase 1 and phase 2 were constructed. But water is being planned to be extended as far as to Togo. But unfortunately for you, Mr. Speaker, and myself, who lie along the main Aflau Road, the system is not running along that line. And so we have a challenge in Sogakope all the way to your constituency, Mr. Speaker, Akachi. And so I'd want to plead with the minister responsible that they look at us. How can they be treating water in my constituency and those of us in that same constituency do not have water to drink? There's also another challenge between merging the system between the community water and also the Ghana Water Company systems. For instance, currently, there's a 5-district water system in Adidome, the constituency of my colleague, Honorable Gabi Hotoje, and it runs along the boundary with me. But unfortunately, we cannot have access to that. That flows almost every day. But Sogakope, being the capital town of the constituency, sometimes do not get water in the whole of the week like other colleagues have just ably articulated. And so I have tried as much as possible to get these two units to merge and to get the water through that of the community water to run through the Ghana Water Company. But there's always a problem with how to merge the systems and allow it to run. I cannot sit without talking about the challenge I've had in my community, Potame, for over 10 years. Honorable Jerry Ahmed knows so well about this. He was the CEO of CODA, and I had to call him on several occasions to get the system running for us. I'll be very, very happy if whoever is taking over from him will take a cue from wherever he's left off to ensure that in no time, my people in Potame get potable water to drink. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to say that very soon we want to ensure that the people at Dendo, Sasekope, Avovi, Galekope, and Agokpo get connected to the community water system to serve them with potable water. I thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, leadership. Minority leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not the minority leader, I'm the available leader.
I said leadership.
And, I would want to cede to Honorable Member for Impraiso.
Yes, Honorable Member from Impraiso.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend my colleague Member of Parliament from Afajato for bringing to bear issues that affect community water. Mr. Speaker, water, they say, is life. And so if we have communities in our dear country who are being deprived of potable water. I think it's important that as a state, we highlight this and find solutions to same. Mr. Speaker, engaged in Galamsey with impunity. People are mining as if we do not even have a country running. Nobody seems to be talking about it. And it's important that, please, we are talking about Ghana water.
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, it's important that as a country, we redirect our attention, just like what happened prior to the 2024 general election, to issues of mining and how it affects our water bodies. Mr. Speaker, just this weekend, I drove through some towns in the Eastern region, and it is as if people have been released without break to engage in active mining. In fact, mining along river bodies. And I am happy that this House approved ministers for environment. Now we have ministers responsible for climate change. We have ministers responsible for sanitation. And I'm praying, lands and natural resources, I'm praying that they put their acts together. I'm praying that they put their acts together. Because the very actions, the very things that we saw prior to the 2024 election has tripled. Has tripled. Now Galamsey is everywhere. In fact, yesterday...
Honourable member, be guided by Order 93.5.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not too sure I'm generating a debate on this subject. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, a prominent farmer in my constituency called me. In fact, I asked him to take pictures of what was going on, and he said he's afraid. People are now mining along river bodies. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Please, I have not blamed the government.
Honourable member from Praiso,
responsible for this.
I recognize the majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, our standing orders are very clear. When statements are made, you may comment, but avoid generating debate. When we asked you to produce evidence, you said a farmer from your community called you. How can a farmer's call to you be evidence? How do we even know that a farmer called you? How do we know? And if a farmer called you, how is that evidence that there has been a 3 times increase in mining activities in your constituency? So please, there's a genuine problem of water shortage around the country. The budget is coming. MPs are encouraged to make statements about the challenges of access to water in their community and call for it to be captured in the budget so that greater allocations can be made to Community Water and Sanitation Agency. I mean, this is the direction in which, as a House, we should be going. But to start talking about how mining has increased 3-fold within 1 month, how is that even possible? How is that even possible? That mining can increase 3-fold in 1 month? How is that possible? So please, I plead with you that don't generate debate.
Honourable Majority Leader, you are right. I even admonished the member from Praiso that he should be guided by Order 93.5. Please conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your guidance, and I want to thank my respected Majority Leader for his admonishment. I seek not to generate debate in this matter. I'm only highlighting a serious issue that is affecting the quality of water in our country. And I'm only saying and praying that the Ministry for Environment, the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources, the Ministry for Sanitation, in the coming budget, should be given some allocations to fight issues of mining, because they are on the rise and they are affecting our river bodies. Mr. Speaker, this is all I seek to do. And I'm extremely sorry if it turns out that I want to generate debate. But I think that it's important for me to bring to bear the issues that are currently going on in our country. This is all I sought to do, and I really would want to thank you. I pray that in the 2025 budget, the Minister for Finance helps my brother, Minister for Environment, with more allocation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to contribute to this wonderful statement from the Member of Parliament for Afajato.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader. Majority Leader. Majority Leader. Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the wonderful opportunity given. I would like to associate myself with a statement made by my able colleague, Honourable Frank Afriye. Brekum East is currently faced with a serious water crisis. In 2014, my constituency was blessed with an urban water project that brought finality to the water problem within my constituency. But just last month ago, Mr. Speaker, these scrap dealers and thieves have gone to, but they have stolen 14 pumps out of the 21 borehole pumps that supports the water system within the constituency. Mr. Speaker, I was in my constituency just last weekend, and I went round, and it's extremely worrying and so sad that out of the 27 boreholes that were dug...
Available leader.
And...
Honourable Member, I recognize the available leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are commenting on a statement made by the member for Afajato South. And our colleague from Brekum East is veering into issues in Brekum East. Please, if you allow me. This is a specific statement. And I want him to stay on track. He's talking about 14 pumps in Brekum, this and that. What has that got to do with the statement?
Honourable Member, you are out of order. Kindly resume your seats.
Oh. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to continue to add my voice to the crisis, the water crisis in the country. Mr. Speaker, just like some of my colleagues mentioned, water is life. And I add my voice to Honourable MP for Afajato South, that water is a big problem across the country, most of the constituencies, and my constituency in particular. We are blessed to have an urban water project that brought finality to the water problem in my constituency. So coming here, I was only going to concern myself with other things, only to go back to the constituency to realize that out of the 21 boreholes dug, 14 of them have been stolen. And as at now, please, humble yourself to learn.
Honourable members,
Mr.
order.
Speaker, we operate surface water and
borehole
for the good people of Brekum.
Honourable Member, did I hear you say stolen or out of order?
Yes.
Or out of function?
The pumps that empower
the boreholes
have been stolen.
The pumps were stolen. The pumps.
I am saying that the pumps that powers, please, the pumps that power the boreholes has been stolen. And this is extremely worrying because we were relying on surface water.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order.
Plus, Mr. Speaker, the 14 boreholes, the pump that has been stolen, were augmenting supply of water to my constituents, and this was blessed by Professor Mills and John Dramani Mahama under the ESWA administration during our first tenure. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, can we have some order?
The pumps in the boreholes, please, there are pumps in boreholes. And these boreholes that supply us water, the pumps have been stolen. And it has really resulted to a serious water crisis in my constituency. And if you get water today, we are rationing water such that, Mr. Speaker, if you get water today, it must take you 1 week before you get water again. And I seriously associate myself with the Honourable Member for Afadjato South that water crisis in this country need urgent attention.
Are you on point of order?
Good relief to the good people of Brekum.
Honourable Member, I recognize former Minister.
And some other constituencies across the country. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me opportunity to add my voice.
Honourable, the member has ended his contribution.
Mr. Speaker, he has ended his submission, so I will just offer him point of information. So Mr. Speaker, the price of the head of a borehole is 15,000 cedis. Use your common fund to buy it. It will help. Yes.
Honourable
Use
member.
your common fund to buy it. It will help.
Honourable
if you come
member.
and complain here, nobody will help you.
Honourable member.
If you come and complain here, nobody will help you. You use your common fund to buy it.
Honourable Natiwood, that definitely cannot be a point of order. The fact that it is only 15,000 does not mean it cannot be stolen.
Mr. Speaker, I said that is information.
Yes.
And I thought he is going to get common fund. Use it to buy. It will help him.
The sector minister may decide to also help. Honourable Deputy Minority Whip, what is the issue on the floor in relation to which you are...
Mr. Speaker, even though he has ended his submission, this is a house of record, and we are guided by what he will say that will be captured on Hansard. I don't know how a borehole can be stolen. Whether the borehole
Honourable member.
lifted, whether the borehole was
Honourable
lifted,
Habib.
how do you steal a borehole?
Honourable Habib, you are out of order. Resume your seat.
Explain how you steal a borehole.
Honourable Habib, resume your seat. All members, order.
Mr. Speaker,
all members.
Respectfully, I think my other
honourable members.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I urge all of you to resume your seats. Honourable members, resume your seats. Honourable members, resume your seats. Honourable members, we've come to the end of that statement. We move to another statement in the name of Honourable Dixon Chire-Duya, Member of Parliament for Brekum West. On football-related violence in Kotoko, in the Kotoko versus Nsuantreman FC match. Honourable Member, you have the floor. Honourable Member for Brekum West.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I make this statement as a result of the rising acts of vandalisms, acts of hooliganisms at our various game centers, and specifically in relation to the 19th week Premier League match played on the 2nd of February 2025, which resulted in the brutal stabbing of a Kotoko fan, Nana Yao Frempong, known as Poole. Mr. Speaker, football is a sport that unites us as a people. It is a game of passion. It brings joy to millions of people across our nation. However, when that passion is tainted by violence, it ceases to be the beautiful game we all love. The events that unfolded before, during, and after that Premier League game are not only despicable, but a stain on the integrity of Ghanaian football and on our national character. Honorable Speaker, the tragic loss of life is not an isolated case, but a part of worrying trend of violence in our sports. About 24 years ago, Mr. Speaker, as a young sports journalist myself, working at the Radio Windy Bay, I was in Accra Sports Stadium on that fateful day on the 9th of May 2001 to cover Kumasi Asante Kotoko Accra House of Folk Premier League game match. On that fateful day, Ghana recorded the most tragic event in its history when 127 lives were lost as a result of football violence. Mr. Speaker, in the wake of this national calamity, the then President of the Republic, His Excellency John Ajekum Kufuor, constituted a commission of inquiry, that's CI-34, to investigate the matter and make appropriate recommendations. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the far-reaching recommendations made to forestall future occurrences, football violence continues to plague the nation. Mr. Speaker, for example, Ghana were left dumbfounded when one of its topmost female referees, Teresa Bremensu, who was officiating in the 2019 Women Special Competition between prisons and Ampindakwa ladies, was beaten to pulp by the fans for what they claimed she failing to add extra time after the 90 minutes elapsed. Again in 2020, Mr. Speaker, we are aware of a Kotoko fan, Augustine Opon, who was shot in the eye when violence broke in the game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Brekum Chelsea. Also, just 2 years ago, my very good friend Edwin Aka, the general manager of Samatex FC, and other officials and players of Samatex FC were brutally assaulted in a Division 1 League match in Daboase in the game against Sky FC. Honorable Speaker, despite all the education, reminders, sensitizations, sanctions aimed at eradicating hooliganism, the act continues to be part of Ghanaian game with many casualties frequently recorded. Mr. Speaker, the situation calls for urgent action from all stakeholders. We as parliamentarians have roles to play: government, football officials, security agencies, clubs, and supporters. There is an urgent need for us to work collectively to eradicate such barbaric acts from our game. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy to note that our new indefatigable Sports and Recreation Minister, Honorable Kofi Adams, has already swung into action. In his first day in office, he met the officials of the Football Federation to fashion out plans to prevent future occurrences of such barbaric incidents in our stadia. I'm very confident with Honorable Kofi Adams, this canker will be dealt with once and for all. Mr. Speaker, I'm also aware of the high-profile meeting between the Inspector General of Police and the stakeholders of our game, which produced 33 action points for implementation to curb hooliganism in our stadia. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, I urge Ghana Football Association and the National Sports Authority to put in place stringent measures and security and safety measures to prevent such occurrences in future. These include enhanced security at stadiums, strict enforcement of disciplinary actions against violent conduct, and also intensified public education on sportsmanship. Mr. Speaker, in our beautiful game of football, there are only 3 results. Either you win, you lose, or you draw. A good sportsman will accept whatever result that comes their way. Honorable Speaker, at this grieving moment, permit me to extend my heartfelt and deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. No family should endure such a pain of a football match. I also call on all stakeholders to remain calm as the Ghana Police Service continue with their investigations to get to the bottom of the matter. Violence has no place in our football. It has no place in Ghanaian society. Let us all stand together to condemn this act and work together to ensure that our football stadia are safe. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for indulging me.
Thank you, Honorable Member. This statement has been presented, and before allowing members to comment, let me bring it to the fore that I am very much aware that the criminal aspect of the matter is before a court of competent jurisdiction. Therefore, members should be circumspect in commenting on this statement and limit their comment to violence in our football matches accordingly. Honorable Samia Oku.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to contribute to the statement made by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Brekum West. Mr. Speaker, let me also, first of all, extend deepest condolences to the bereaved family and to the deceased. So, Speaker, there are 4 things that excite passion and inflames passion within our society. These 4 things for me: 1, football; 2, religion; 3, ethnic issues; and also 4, political issues. What is before us today is association football. Right Honorable Speaker, in contributing to the statement made by the Honorable colleague Member of Parliament, I would also like us to also situate the matter. You cannot separate these acts of vandalism, hooliganism, and riotous behavior of fans also from sometimes poor officiating. If we cast our mind back to many of the issues around the world, anytime you have these huge disagreements among fans, at the heart of it has been a refereeing decision one way or the other. I would like us to also get the Referees Association of Ghana and the Football Administration to also pay keen attention to sometimes bad officiating or questionable officiating. I'm saying this because in today's football world, it's no longer what it used to be under the good days of Wilberforce Infum, the Golden Boy Abdul Razak and co, where football was played just to excite people or to entertain people. This time around, it's become a very commercial venture. And people get into these stands knowing very well and working out the odds on what they intend to achieve at the end of the day. I believe these acts of hooliganism are despicable, and it is about time that we don't just pay lip service to these matters when they are raised, but also get the law enforcement agencies to also enforce the laws. One of the main issues that for me continue to also agitate my mind has to do with the issue of citing drinking spots and beer bars around these stadia and sports facilities. One, you cannot enter the stadium with alcohol, But at the time, these drinking bars around the various stadiums. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sami Yaku. Honorable member, let me give the opportunity to the lady.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to contribute on the statement made by the Honorable Member for Brekum West and on the situation of an unfortunate situation that happened in Nsuatre with the match between the Kotoko and Nsuatreman. It happened in Nsuatre, which is my constituency. I would like to extend my condolence to the entire family of the deceased. Mr. Speaker, on this note, we need to be very much careful and put in better and proper measures when there is match like this, because we have different supporters with different views and excitement. People come out and communicate or express their excitement in a different way. And so, with this unfortunate situation happening in my constituency, which I believe it shouldn't happen in any constituency, the entire sports ministries and heads or owners and management of football clubs should take this serious and make sure that these things do not happen again. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, I believe that we should have a risk assessment before any match takes place, because we need to make sure that the park or wherever they are having these football games are well kept. We have CCTV cameras in case of emergency. We have proper security personnel. Even in addition of these military personnel can be added to it. Mr. Speaker, I believe that if much concentration and monitorization is put in place and we monitor the situation well, I don't believe that these things would happen. When this issue happened in my constituency, it called a lot of emergency, because if you look at where the ambulance service is in Nsuatre, they went far. We couldn't even get an ambulance at this particular situation. And it's rather unfortunate that my good brother, my father, the former MP for Sunyane West, and it's something we shouldn't really I was really worried because he's a senior colleague of mine, and I share with him at this particular situation, and I wish him well, because it can happen to anybody. And I pray that if measures are kept well and put in place, all these matters will reduce. Mr. Speaker, I would come to the point of our medical aid. We need to make sure we have first aid in situations and places like this, so that measures can be taken as early as possible. Because looking at the supporter of Kotoko, it means that if they had first aid available, we could have found a way to save him as early as possible. Again, Mr. Speaker, I would like to plead with the entire security and medical professionals, as I earlier on made, to have an emergency plan with a sports team in case there's such situation happens, so that we'll be able to help save lives and educate our fans in matters and how they should be jubilating when issues happen. And even the terrain that supporters need to, if they are ticketing that we're supposed to give to them, and monitor the number so they will not have a stampede at the park or the stadium. I think it will go a long way to help us. Thank you for the opportunity given to me, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I'll give the floor to Honorable Professor Kingsley Nyako.
Honorable Speaker, I'm extremely grateful to you for the opportunity accorded me to make a brief comment on this sad statement made by our honorable brother. Mr. Speaker, it is so sad and painful for a life, a precious soul, to be lost when that person was enjoying the sport of football. Mr. Speaker, football is supposed to unite us. It's a source of enjoyment for most of us. And if you go to watch a game of football, you expect that your team wins. It beats my imagination why somebody, in their attempt to watch the beautiful game of football, should lose their life through violence. Mr. Speaker, violence should not be allowed to fester in our society. We must understand that as human beings, we cannot all belong to the same group or association. We cannot. We can't also think alike, because society would be of no fun if you all belong to the same society. There should be diversity in terms of ideas, diversity in terms of belonging to association. That is when we can see growth and progress. What has happened is so sad. We need to condemn it and insist that the investigation into this barbaric acts is expedited so that the culprits will face the full rigors of the law. Indiscipline in this society is becoming one too many. We must halt it. We must stop it. Indiscipline anywhere is a threat to progress everywhere. And I think that we must come to the realization that Ghana can thrive and be stronger when we understand that we have to be tolerant in all that we do. I'm a Kotoko fan, Asante Kotoko, and I've been forced in this country to be proactive in providing security so that when we go to watch football or any sporting activity, we will be there having at the back of our minds that we are safe and protected. This shouldn't happen again. And I want to console the widow and the children, and that this supporter should find solace in the bosom of his maker. I also want to plead with our supporters that we should understand that in the game of football or in any sporting activity, they cannot always...
The maker of the statement. Mr. Speaker, football is the passion of this country, but this is just one too many. Today we are discussing this unfortunate situation because it involves Asante Kotoko. But there have been a series of such events in our country where supporters think that when they disagree, they must take the law into their hands. And this should bring finality to such incidents in our football. Nobody should die following your passion. I understand the man left behind 6 children. This is a very, very difficult situation for his family. And, Mr. Speaker, I think that we need to take football a lot more serious. The rules of football is not just the rules on the field. Mr. Speaker, what are the protocols for making a football field fit for purpose. Not everywhere is fit for purpose. What we are playing football on are what we call parks. They don't qualify to hold soccer matches. We must take the licensing of stadia very, very important, so that we tick all the boxes to ensure that when people go to a stadium or go to a football field, that football field is fit for purpose. So we must begin to license our football fields. And when we begin to do, you realize that many places, such as Infantryman, will not qualify to host football matches, let alone for us to die the way we are dying. Mr. Speaker, I was very sad to hear my colleague mention that they were struggling to get very simple first aid. You don't have ambulances. You have no business playing football in such a field. That is a death trap. But we go there and nothing happens, so we think that is a football field. No. What was the police situation at the football field? Where were the police? What was the requirement of security that was supposed to be upheld in the stadium? In this particular instance, the information we have is that this young man had been threatened prior to the match, and that the security agencies should have known that what happened to the young man could happen, because he is accused of having made comments that did not go down well with the other club ahead of the match, and he was threatened. And yet we allowed the football match to happen without security to protect this young man. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to call on you to direct the Ministry of Sports to take this matter very seriously. And that if the GFA cannot follow rigorous protocols for licensing our football stadia, we should not be playing football as a country. Because football is a serious business and it's about life. And whether you like it or not, some people are going to be dissatisfied and may take the law into their hands. Whether you like it or not, if you do not license stadia, you are going to have football fields that will play on that don't even have ambulances, where the protocol may require you to bring over 40 policemen. You are right there and only 2 policemen are there guiding and protecting scores of spectators. The end result is that people die needlessly, and we mustn't die following the passion of football. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to call on this House to take on the GFA to properly make sure that before football returns, we are prepared in all respects, and that our football fields are fit for purpose. Currently, what we call football fields are just parks. They are just like we're doing in our area, where you just call neighbors across the road and you are playing football. That is what is happening. And we cannot be doing that for people to die needlessly. So, Mr. Speaker, I commend the maker of the statement, and I thank you for indulging me, except to say that this mustn't end with a talk show. We must see some action being taken to sanitize football in our country and to make sure that our football fields are safe for purpose, that we will not hear this conversation again anytime soon. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Minority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I want to cede to Ghana.
Yes, Honourable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you. Right on the opportunity given to me to make a contribution to a statement made by my brother, Honourable Member for Brekum West. Mr. Speaker, what happened was an unfortunate incident. People find it that at any stage in the match, they take responsibility. And make the appropriate. They take responsibility and make the appropriate appeals to their supporters, to their members, to the fans. We may be able to prevent some of these unfortunate incidents. Now, we are talking about security. Security is a shared responsibility. Shared responsibility between the teams that will be playing the matches, Ghana Sports Council, the football administration, and then supporters as well. So I may want to recommend that before matches are played, the various teams will plan the security arrangements for these matches and agree, depending on the expectations of attendance at these matches. We have categorized our teams, and there are matches that we say this is category A. Of course, whenever Kotoko or Haas is playing any match against any other team, the expectation is that there will be more spectators than the other teams, and therefore security arrangements will have to be leadership and everybody, so that as the rules of the game change, we would be abreast with them and accept that during football matches, it is the referee and only the referee whose decisions are final. The referee is a human being, is fallible, and may make mistakes. But once he takes a decision, whether it goes in your favor or against you, you have no option but to accept it. And when that happens, that's why we want leaders to take responsibility. You appeal to your team, your players, your supporters, that once the decision has been taken by the referee, unless through an appeal or something, you cannot change that decision. And so we'll need to do that continuous training and capacity building for the various stakeholders in football administration. Once again, I also want to make a recommendation on events that unfortunate incidents of the type that happened at Insiatre occur. We may have professionals with the appropriate resources to deal with the matter, so that we may do our best by way of first aid before we are able to convey the victims or casualties to the appropriate medical facilities. On that note, I wish to say that I highly commend the author of the statement. I know he is a football administrator, and he really knows and understands sports in general. And he would help the various stakeholders in finding solutions to this unfortunate incident and make appropriate recommendations. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank you for the opportunity given to me to make this little contribution towards the unfortunate incident that happened in my region and also happened in the constituency of my sister at the other side. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think that as a parliament, we should at all times condemn all forms of violence at our stadia during football matches. Colleagues have already indicated strongly that these matches are for pleasure, they are for entertainment, and they are to bring us together. They shouldn't end with people losing lives, limb, and property being damaged. That is not the objective. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, we should appreciate that sports, beyond just being entertainment, has become a big economy, a major economy, contributing enormously to the GDPs of some countries. In Ghana here, weekends, when you see the number of people who are trooping home to watch the European League, the Spanish League, and all these foreign leagues, it is amazing. And when you sit with business people and they have conversations about leisure, and the number who fly to Europe, fly to the United Kingdom, just to go and watch a match and come back. And these matches become the meeting places where major deals are concluded. It will amaze you. And if you see the extent to which the media is developing in those countries, and sports and the coverage of sports has become a major source of revenue for those countries, then you will know that it is not a place where we go and throw stones at each other. It is not a place where we go intending that at the end of the match we will beat the referee. It is not a place where we go planning that when we finish, we will scatter the place if our team do not win. It is a place where, as a district, as a region, you must plan for it, because the people who would travel there, the transport sector will benefit. When they get to the place, those who will be selling food and other items, the women in your district, in your region, will benefit. The hotels who will host them, you will benefit. And so the regional security councils, the municipal and district security councils must accept these as major important events that they must plan for and make sure that no match results in violence in their municipality. And even encourage those matches to be taking place so you can earn more, and then also you can entertain your people and then keep them happy. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, if you observed earlier on, I was sitting with the Minister for Sports. He was hoping to be here to comment on this statement because I had given him some indication, but he has to run back to his ministry to defend his budget because the Minister for Finance is putting together his budget. And so in our discussions, he's indicated that as part of the 24-hour economy strategy, sports is going to be a major cornerstone as part of the 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, the Minister for Youth, the Minister for Sports has a major agenda to revive sports, to revive football from the district to the regional level and at the national level. Mr. Speaker, the Minister is already holding meetings with the media to see how we can project sports. Indeed, he has revealed to me that he is looking to negotiate for super sports and others to begin to cover our local leagues. Because, Mr. Speaker, when the local leagues are covered by super sports, what it means is that people sitting in South Africa can see our boys playing, our boys and girls playing. And from South Africa, they can begin to identify and come and scout for those people. So the footballers themselves, when they see that their tournaments are covered on super sports, they know that a platform, a global platform is being provided them to showcase their skills so that scouts all over the world can view and then come and try and then recruit them to their various countries. And also that he is going to invest and get support and sponsorship for the various teams in the regions so they can have good football, good coaches, they can have support to be able to compete effectively, train and recruit and retain very good footballers, buy very good players, and then also up the quality of our local league so that people will really like to go and watch our leagues instead of wanting to sit at home and watch the European leagues. Mr. Speaker, when this happens, I believe that our people will begin to appreciate the fact that football is a big thing. It's not a place where you go and throw stones, where you go and then, fight at the end of the match, because when you do that, you are destroying the economy of your district, your municipality, and ultimately your region. The regional ministers and municipal chief executives will begin to see that football is a major enabler of their economies, and therefore they must pay attention, and the entire governance framework within the district, municipality, and the region will be geared towards making sure that every weekend, any match that is being played ends up successfully and it doesn't end up with the image of the municipality or district being dented. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude by saying that with the 24-hour economy strategy, football is going to be a major enabler of the 24-hour economy. And very soon we will see it. Very soon, our local league will replace the European leagues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Let me add my voice by commending the individuals who are running football teams. Honorable members, it is not easy to run football team. Honorable members, football itself should be a game of peace. So a situation where football is characterized by violence is an idea which is not welcome. We have to do everything possible to avoid it. I would direct that the statement be transmitted to the minister responsible for sports and recreation. Thank you. Honourable members, there are two statements on local governance. One is by Honourable Faustina Elikplim Akurugu on deepening local governance in Ghana, addressing the challenges of unit committee members. Honourable members, the other one is local level stakeholder participation in local governance. A statement by Honourable Dominic Napari, MP, Senate East Constituency. Honourable members, I crave your indulgence to have these two statements taken jointly. I will then give the floor to Honourable Faustina Elikplim Akurugu. Honourable, you have the floor. Second Deputy Speaker should take the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for the opportunity to address this August House on the critical role of local governance in Ghana's democratic development, particularly addressing the challenges faced by unit committee members in our various local government units. Mr. Speaker, local governance continues to form the bedrock of Ghana's participatory democracy, ensuring that governance is brought closer to the people. Ghana's decentralization system, established under the Chapter 20 of the 1992 Constitution and the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, provides the framework for grassroots governance with district assemblies as the highest political and administrative authorities at the local government level. The unit committee, as the lowest structure of the local government, is essential in engaging communities, mobilizing citizens for development, and implementing policies at the grassroots level. However, Right Honourable Speaker, despite the importance placed on the unit committee, it continues to face challenges that hinder their work. A couple of days ago, I met with the representatives of Unit Committee, Members Association of Ghana. The membership, according to them, is 43,500. They asked me to present these challenges on the floor of this August House. In a petition presented to me, they requested an urgent intervention in addressing the following issues. 1, lack of empowerment. Mr. Speaker, the unit committee members feel disempowered due to insufficient authorities and participation in decision-making process. They therefore want to urge the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to provide clear guidelines that enhance their role in the decision-making process. 2, low recognition and compensation. Again, Mr. Speaker, the unit committee members state that there is noticeable low, if not absent, recognition and compensation for them. According to them, this lack of acknowledgement demotivates them and undermines their commitment. They propose that a structured compensation framework be put in place to reward and motivate them for their time and efforts. 3, neglect by central government. Mr. Speaker, there is growing concern among unit committee members for neglect by the central government. According to them, this neglect is made manifest in limited communication, inadequate funding, and a lack of involvement in policy formulation that affects local governance. As a result, Mr. Speaker, they seek amendment in the Act to promote inclusiveness and participation in decision-making process and more engagement with the central government regarding local issues. 4, capacity building and training needs. Mr. Speaker, the unit committee members reckon that there is an urgent need for capacity building through training programs tailored specifically for committee members. Such training should be tailored to enhance their skills in governance, project management, conflict resolution, and community mobilization. 5, misunderstanding with zonal councils. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the unit committee members complained of rising misunderstanding with zonal councils, which disrupts collaboration and effective planning for community development. They recommend the establishment of regular dialogue sessions to foster understanding and cooperation. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, addressing these challenges will go a long way to strengthening the effectiveness of unit committee in local government and ultimately lead to improving the local governance system and community development. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Very well. Honourable members, let me at this juncture also invite Honourable Dominic Napari, MP for Senate East Constituency, to read his statement, which is of the same content. So, Honourable, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement on local level participation in local governance in the district assemblies in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, decentralization and local governance, which is considered an important element of participatory democracy over the past 3 decades, has seen increasing devolution of political and economic power to local government. Decentralization can be said to be a process of bringing public sector decisions closer to the people in order to empower local communities to actively participate in the prioritization, implementation, and monitoring of government development programs to the benefit of these communities. Mr. Speaker, this process should encourage more accountable and responsive governance to improve public service delivery efficiency at the local level and bring government closer to the governed. Mr. Speaker, it is in the light of the above that the 1992 Republican Constitution makes decentralization mandatory and provides that this country, Ghana, put in place a system of local government and administration which shall, as far as practicable, be decentralized, Article 241. In furtherance of that, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution tasks Parliament to enact appropriate laws to ensure that functions, powers, responsibilities, and resources are at all times transferred from the central government to local government authorities in a coordinated manner. Parliament operationalized this by the passage of the Local Government Act 1993 Act 462, which was later replaced by the Local Governance Act 1993 Act 462, which has later replaced 936 with the aim of enhancing local participation and to coordinating all local government laws into one legislation. Mr. Speaker, it is interesting to note that until the promulgation of the new Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, the previous Local Government Act, Act 462, did not have any elaborate provision on participatory governance for citizens' engagement with the district assemblies. This gives rise to the absolute need for serious sensitization of the public and also local government practitioners on participatory governance at local level under the new Act. This, I believe, will enable us to achieve the promotion of popular participation in local level decision-making. Mr. Speaker, the crux of the matter is that if decentralization and local governance is for participation and ownership by the local level stakeholders, to what extent do these stakeholders, who have stakes and roles to play, as enshrined in the Local Governance Act 2016, are aware of and play these roles and responsibilities? Mr. Speaker, the Act in sections 40 to 48 has given elaborate and extensive opportunity and guidelines to local level stakeholders to effectively participate and provide oversight to ensure efficient service delivery. But unfortunately, this is not the case to a large extent. The Act 936 under section 234 defines district level stakeholders to include chiefs, traditional authorities, opinion leaders, community leaders, and civil society organizations. And civil society organizations is defined in the same section to include community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, that's religious bodies, non-governmental organizations, professional bodies, vocational associations, or similar organizations. Mr. Speaker, the above is fortified in the constitutional indication for rulers to be identified for ordinary people in local government in Ghana as given in Chapter 20, Article 242 of the Constitution, where it says as follows: to ensure the accountability of local government authorities, people in particular local government areas shall, as far as practicable, be afforded opportunity to participate effectively in their governance. In operationalizing this, the Local Governance Act provides for the assembly member to consult with their electorate before and after meetings of the assembly. The question is, how far is this carried through? Again, Mr. Speaker, the provisions of participatory revocation of the mandate of an assembly member who has lost the confidence of his people, those on decentralized participatory planning and budgeting, and the section that requires that chiefs and traditional authorities must be consulted in the process of the president's appointing the 30% to district assemblies, give effect to participatory local governance at the assemblies. Mr. Speaker, Section 41 and 42 of the Act provides the procedure to enable a resident and other local level stakeholders to participate in activities of the district assembly and its substructures and identify the modalities and platforms for participation. In particular, the two sections provide for the participation of local people in the enactment of bylaws and draft fee-fixing resolutions by the district assembly. Mr. Speaker, citizens' participation in the preparation of district assemblies bylaws and fee-fixing resolutions is very important in increasing internally generated funds for local development at assemblies. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, there's very limited involvement of stakeholders in this direction by district assemblies, as noticed by your Committee on Local Government in its previous reports to the plenary. The extensive involvement of stakeholders in the determination of how much rate, fees, and fines they will be paying during fixed-season formulation stage will reduce the Assembly's cost of sensitization and education on citizens' tax obligations. I think this will also reduce the usual confrontations between taxpayers and the revenue collectors and increase revenue generation for local development at the district assemblies. Mr. Speaker, information and technology-based platforms are among the many platforms specified in Section 42 of the Act for stakeholder participation and also include town hall meetings, budget preparation and validation fora, notice board announcement on jobs, appointments, procurement awards, and other important announcements of public interest. Section 43 and 44 of the Act provides for the general public to make petitions to the District Assembly on issues of concern. Section 44 makes it mandatory for a District Assembly to respond to petitions by citizens. All these are measures put in place to address issues of stakeholder involvement and participation. This is so important that the Act compels the District Chief Executive of every assembly to report on stakeholder participation in activities of the District Assembly as stated in Section 45 of the Act. This will ensure that district assemblies make conscious effort to involve the local people. Mr. Speaker, it is curious to know that even before the passage of the Right to Information Act 2019, Act 989, Section 47 of the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, had provided the public access to information from district assemblies. It provides that every resident in a district assembly shall have access on request to information held by the district assembly or a department of the assembly, subject to limitations imposed by law. It is strange, Mr. Speaker, that this provision was not being employed by the media and the general public, but were only waiting for the passage of the Right to Information Act. Perhaps this justifies my earlier call for a serious sensitization of the public on the provisions of the new Local Governance Act 2016. Mr. Speaker, the requirement of the assemblies to observe the principles of inclusion and integration of minorities and marginal groups in society is so important that the Act, in Section 48, has compelled district assemblies to observe the following principles. A, protection of marginalized groups from discrimination of any kind, including discrimination based on language, religion, culture, national or social origin, gender, birth, descent, or other status. B, equality of treatment in each area of economic, educational, social, religious, political, and cultural life of the marginalized and minority groups. C, special protection to vulnerable persons who may be subject to threats or acts of discrimination, hostility, violence, and abuse as a result of their ethnic, cultural, religious, and other identity. D, special measures of affirmative action for marginalized and minority groups to ensure their enjoyment of equal rights with the rest of the population. E, respect for and promotion of the identity and characteristics of minorities. F, promotion of diversity and intercultural education. And G, promotion of effective participation of marginalized groups in public and political life. Mr. Speaker, if these assemblies were to implement these principles to the latter by instituting programs of pro-women and pro-marginalized affirmative actions, and the issue of abysmally low participation of women in governance, particularly local governance, would have been improved. Mr. Speaker, as a way forward, the relationship between the local government and the governed should be strengthened to reverse this situation of mistrust and disillusionment, and that both the local people and the district assemblies need to work together to rebuild and strengthen this relationship. By this, the citizens need to be more active and engaged, while the assemblies be more responsive and effective. The provisions must be operationalized and practicalized for popular participation to become a reality.
Dominic, can you summarize it a bit?
I'm almost done, Mr. Speaker.
6 pages. It's
I'm
too
almost
much.
done, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Again, Mr. Speaker, I also think that we need to rethink participation in political process towards an engagement that is more deliberative and which can be understood as a right in itself to call for certain preconditions to be created, targeting the fulfillment of local needs. Again, I wish to suggest that the Ministry of Local Government and by extension the district assemblies engage in elaborate sensitization on the provisions of the Local Governance Act, particularly on sections 40 to 48. The non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations and the media who are into advocacy of local governance, even though they are themselves stakeholders, should also champion the advocacy on participatory governance. Finally, Mr. Speaker, in order that the district assemblies will be more responsive to issues of stakeholder participation and report appropriately, as contained in Section 45 of the Act, I suggest that the local government ministry include participatory governance at the local level as a qualifying criteria for the district performance assessment tool, DPAT, emphasizing on their responsiveness to issues of inclusiveness and integration of minorities and the marginalized group. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I think we've made this admonition in the House before. We normally have so many statements. So if you are bringing your statement, please make it a bit brief, not more than 2 pages, so that we can accommodate more statements. Dominic, yours is 6 pages. It's too much. Please, let's take it. So the whips, I think this morning we discussed it at the president. The whips, please ensure that the statement received from members are at least not more than 2 pages, so that we can accommodate more. Yes. Let me start from here. I'll come back to you. Yes, Honorable
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to add my voice to the statement. 2 statements on the floor. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the 2 honorable members who made the statement. Actually, when you look at the organogram of the local government structure in this country, Mr. Speaker, you will realize that the unit committee members are the units which is at the down 10 of the, Mr. Speaker, the organogram. Mr. Speaker, you start from the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. You come to the Regional Coordinating Council, being led by the regional ministers, the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Assemblies, being led by the chief executives. Now you come to the assembly members, the zonal council, and finally, the unit committee members. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the organogram, the unit committee members are the people who are not motivated in any way by the structure, by the organogram, which I think that we need to do more about this. They work assiduously at the various units that they find themselves. But meanwhile, they are not being motivated. And even adding to the assembly members, how can an assembly member travel about 30 kilometers to the district capital, have a meeting, and be given 150 Ghana cedis as sitting allowance without even TNT? Some of you don't get it at all. The Speaker, it's something we have to look into it. And they are working for the country. And therefore, we need to do so much about it. Mr. Speaker, I will urge the chief executives to make sure that they increase their IGF at wherever level.